All right, today, Groovers, we've got a very special today, the first, in fact, on the Swim Smooth blog. We're here today with Kate Bevilaqua and her partner, Guy Crawford, two professional Ironman athletes. But it's Kate who we really want to chat to today. So Kate spends her summer months, that's the Southern Hemisphere summer months, training with the squad, the Swim Smooth squad down in Perth in Western Australia. But currently, in the Northern Hemisphere summer, she's based over in Boise in Idaho, over in the US. And last weekend, recently won the Ultra 520K Championship. So we're here today to chat with Kate and let her tell us a little bit more about what that actually involves. I think the clue is in the number 520K, so 520 kilometres of racing over 3 days. And I believe it took you just over 24 hours, isn't it, Kate,
yeah,
to get through that?
24:16, I think, which is officially, I think it's the second...
I think it's officially crazy.
Second fastest female time, I think, that's been recorded.
That's unbelievable. Unbelievable. And am I correct in thinking you also won the... you actually won it outright as well, not just the ladies, but also the guys?
I did. Yeah, I did win it outright. You know, we thought I would be able to do well, and with my background and what I do, that winning the women's, should definitely be, something I was, aiming for. But yeah, after the first day, I was in first place, and then the second day, I'd fallen back to second. I think about 15 minutes back, but I was able to put together a good run on the third day, and the cards just fell the right way, and I came away with the victory, which is again the first time ever. I think they said in the 32-year history of Ultraman racing that a woman has won overall.
Absolutely incredible. I'm super impressed and very proud of you, Kate. That's brilliant. Really, really good to see. Now, I've seen a little bit of video of this online, and I have to say that, so you started off with a 10K swim and a 150K ride, right, on the first day?
Yes. Yeah. You've swum 10Ks, Paul. I've never swum 10Ks before.
I know, but you're looking mighty impressive. The clip that I saw, thinking, wow, she's holding a great rate and rhythm here, looking really, really good. And then I realised that it was actually in the last kilometre that I was watching as well, so that's pretty good. So tell us a little bit about the 10K.
10.5. So he said it was 10.5.
Wow, it was 10K, but I paddled her 10.5.
Excellent. And Guy, you were wearing a nappy, right? Tell us a little bit more about the nappy.
I was our pre-plan was basically I kayak if I needed to go to the bathroom. Nature calls. Just go. You're in a big body of water. No dramas. But
how long are you planning on being out there for? Kate's a pretty quick swimmer. How long are you?
Or the better question is, how weak is my bladder? The answer, very weak. So the lady that owned the kayaks gave out nappies, like adult diapers. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll take one of those. And as a joke, I put it on in the morning, but it turns out I needed that nappy. Yeah, I know. I'm pretty awesome.
Crazy, crazy. So tell us about the swim, Kate, first off then.
So I don't know if anyone's seen any pictures. The swim was in Lake Scarha in Penticton, and look, it was beautiful. It was the morning was gorgeous. It was very calm, very clear. We couldn't. Guy had to have binoculars. The first boy was about 8 Ks away. Like you literally swam straight down the middle of the lake. So he just had to sight for landmarks, and then and then he would be able to see the buoy, and we would turn around it.
Yeah.
So he was really good at pacing me and just holding me back, and because when I started, I was like, quick, let's go. You need to get a good position, stuff like, which is not the case when when it's an ultra distance event. So. And the original plan was I was stopping every 2Ks and having a drink, and then the next 2Ks have a gel, 2Ks drink, 2Ks gel. And that was mainly because obviously it's a 3-day event. I was getting off the bike, I was riding out of the water, I was riding 150Ks, so the calorie intake was pretty important. So towards the end, I think the last 3Ks we did stop a little bit more.
Yeah, we stopped every 1,000, I think, and we alternated drink.
Yeah,
gel and drink.
Yeah,
drink gel.
We did, and just just before the last K, I loaded up before swimming into transition and getting ready to get on the bike. So look, I really enjoyed the swim. It was beautiful, and I think it had a lot to do with I didn't get in the water and think I had to swim 10Ks. If I'd done that, it would have been too overwhelming for me. I just thought I had to swim 2Ks, and then I'm stopping for a drink. So it was broken down
into sections.
It was, yeah. And when I got to like 7Ks, I had Guy actually telling me 500 meters. Like he would give me 500-meter breakdown. So then it was, a lot easier then too.
Was there at any point did you think you couldn't get through the swim, or were you fairly confident?
No. I was confident I could get through the swim. It was just a matter of how well I would get through the swim. And look, to be honest, I was aiming for 2:30. I did 2:37. I blame that on the extra 500 meters.
For those of you listening into that, 2:30 is like the sort of benchmark of very, very good 10K swimming. Most of my squad over here in Perth, the guys and girls who would be considered the faster crew, tried to break 3 hours for 10K. So being down at 2:37 and trying to break 2:30, that's very, very good swimming, Kate. And now, how did your shoulders feel during that swim?
So they were fine during the swim. It was actually later on that night and the next morning that my arms were sore. During the swim, I'd been doing my longest swims each week. I had been doing in my wetsuit. So I'd been, swimming 6, 7, 8 up to 9. My longest swim was actually 9, so I didn't actually do a 10. Right. But I'd done them all in my wetsuit, so I was very used to it and very comfortable in swimming in my wetsuit. I did notice my arms, but not till later on that night because I got out of the water and got straight on my bike. So I'm into an aero position, doing something different. Yeah.
You even ran out of the water, I saw. It was good.
I'm just so used to doing that too. Yeah. They said. I laid down on the ground and Ruth and Mazzy were ripping off my wetsuit, and apparently the commentator was saying, there is actually like chairs and you can go and do it at, and I'm like, well, this is what I'm doing.
That sort of thing.
Just take it off.
Yeah. And how cold was the water?
Oh, it was beautiful. It wasn't. The temperature. What was it?
Yeah, it was like 24 degrees. It was warm. So we actually took 2 wetsuits up, a sleeveless and a full suit.
Yep.
And Kate swam both, and we decided that air temperature in the morning, it was quite cool. In Canada, we went for the long sleeve, although we didn't make that decision till the last minute. So
I had the sleeveless because we'd been told the water was quite warm, and they'd been doing triathlon events in it, and they'd been non-wetsuit. So I was prepared for both. But like I said, with the cooler temperatures in the morning, I wore the
Brilliant.
So the water temperature was nice.
Is it it's the same lake that Ironman Canada is running? Is that correct?
No, it's the one on the other side. Yeah,
right.
So Penticton's in the middle, and it's the other. Yeah,
it's on the south side.
Yeah.
South side, yeah. Now, I've never been that part of the world, but it sounds very nice. So, and the pictures look absolutely amazing. So, so once you got out the swim, then you're onto the bike, and it's 150 Ks. Was it hilly? Were you in a time trial?
So the first 40 Ks, 50 Ks was flat. Was pretty flat, and that was easy to just TT, get in a good rhythm, and just go for it. And then you made a right hand turn and the climbing started, and it was just literally and that because you do part of the Ironman Canada course,
right?
So from then on, it was pretty much all up or down. Just for a brief out and back section that they had, and that section was that 20 Ks long?
Yeah, it was pretty much exactly 20.
Yeah, and that was probably at around 110 or 100. Around 110 Ks, and that was the first chance I had to see. I didn't see anyone until then. So when we did that first out and back, that last out and back, that's when I saw the one guy come into the out and back at the same time as me, and he was riding really well, and I was expecting him to pretty much come by, but then we started climbing again, and I think he struggled a little bit on those climbs, and I was able to finish day one in front.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And do you have the support crew on the road with you for the bike? Or?
Yes.
Yep.
So you do. You have them. Yeah. And they stopped. Were you stopping every 10 Ks or a bit?
It was a bit random, but roughly every 10. Because Kate wasn't carrying a lot of like puncture repair stuff and stuff, so we're letting her go ahead, and then you have to time it so you go past, and you only go past by a couple of minutes and pull over.
Yeah.
And because it was so hot, I think it was like 37, 38 degrees.
Whoa.
Which made it even tougher than usual. Actually, both bike days were really hot.
And I was like, don't worry, I'll carry enough nutrition for the first few hours. But in the end, because it was so hot, I didn't. I would just have one bottle, and I would just always keep grabbing a new bottle from them because it was colder and it was so much easier to drink. So we made that decision to do that because it was just so hot. And they were giving me ice all the time. And, I was having ice down my
So who was in your who was in the crew on the following you around?
I had Guy, Ruth Chang, Marion Brennan, and my coach Jeff Schilt, who lives here in Boise.
Brilliant, brilliant. What did Jeff make of the whole thing on the first day? Was he really excited on the first day?
He oh yeah, I mean he's excited. He's known obviously I've wanted to do it for a long time, and then we sat down and worked out the training plan and the program. So yeah, he was very excited, but also very very level-headed, because that was his job as the coach to this is what you need to do. This is the decisions you need to make, and then I think he ended up keeping you guys on your toes as well in the minivan at the same time.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Jeff's not afraid to bark a few orders in the nicest way possible. He's a good dude.
Brilliant.
So
brilliant.
Yeah.
So I mean, that first day sounds pretty crazy. A 10K swim and a 150K ride, but the next day is just like whoa, 276K. Is that right?
Yeah, it's 275.8.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah, it's 276. So day one was sort of okay. I'm an Ironman athlete, so it was 7.5 hours. Okay, the swim was long, but there was no run. Long ride. As soon as I got off my bike, though, it was Ruth had protein recovery drink in my hand. I was in an ice bath. I had a massage. We were in the car back to the apartment. I was in recovery boots. I was being just force-fed food straight away. So that was critical. But yeah, the next day, day 2 for me was the hardest of the 3 days. Day 2 was really, I was good for about 3/4, and then I crashed and burned.
So tell us about that. What happens when you crash and burn, when you hit the wall?
So we all started together, and my instructions from Jeff were to hold back at the start. It's a long day. The first half is flat and fast again, and then after that it's hilly and you have a headwind.
Are you allowed to ride in a group or...?
You not in a group, but like Ironman, like there was officials there, so you had to be. You couldn't draft or anything like that. But within 40 Ks, it was all split up, and there was Rusty, just myself and one guy left at the front. So I'm like, this is great. I've got someone to ride with. I'll pace off him. And then the next minute, he broke his aero bars, like completely snapped them. No. So he was off on the side of the road with a mechanical, and I'm like, here we go again. I'm riding. I'll ride on my own.
Wow.
So then the rolling hill started, and look, it was fine, but just as the ride went on, I think that I hadn't had enough food the night before. I'd had food, but just not enough to replace what I'd used up. And plus, I think I did go out a little bit too hard on the bike on day 2, and by the time we got to even before 200, probably about the 180 mark, Ironman mark, 190. I was struggling a little bit, like mentally and physically. I'd hit a bit of a wall. A couple of guys had gone past me, and it's just a constant headwind, and it was just I was in that place. So they pulled the minivan over. They pulled me off my bike. They sat me down. They said, right, you're sitting here for a few minutes. We're not letting you go anywhere.
Right.
They gave me Red Bull, locked me up with some food and stuff.
How did that feel when they did that? Did you feel, no, I've got to keep going, or was it like...
I did initially, but when I sat down, I sort of was like, because I'm very stubborn, I do need this. And Jeff's like, and you have to run, 84 Ks tomorrow. He said, it's not just about finishing this ride. There is like a whole another day to this event. So he said, a few minutes here is going to make a big difference. So, so I did sit down. Ruthie was stretching me. Jeff was taking the bike, all that. They were all doing something to get me ready to get going again. And then you arrive into Princeton, which is the finish, but you still have 70 Ks to go. So there's a big out and back section of rolling hills again before you come back to the finish. And so, that was just a matter of head down and thinking about, this was my choice. This is something I've always wanted to do. I'm doing it. You just have to get to the turnaround, because then it's a tailwind coming back. Just anything that you could draw on, any single thing that you can pick to just keep you going. And it was
38 degrees.
Yeah, and my Di2 battery died.
Oh no! You're stuck in a gear, were you?
I was stuck in the small chain ring when we turned around with the tailwinds to come back. And I'm just like, I'm like, and I pulled over next to them at the minivan, and they're like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I've got a problem."
Yeah.
Oh, that was hard.
Yeah, I bet.
And then eventually we're just like, okay, just go,
Yeah.
and we'll sort it out as we drive. And then we're driving, and inside the car we're all blowing up, and Jeff's doing his, okay, we need to think of this, and Jeff actually came up with this great. He's like, okay, we need a power pack. Have you got anything that charges in the car? I was like, no, nothing for a Di2. And then Ruth's like, I've got a power pack. And then the Di2, we had it with us.
The charger.
Actually put it in this little mobile power pack. Got Kate off her bike for the second time, another about 5 minutes off, and we just charged it enough, and then put it in the big ring.
Wow.
And
And
it
then
went
they
into the
got me
big ring,
back.
and we're like, just don't,
That's all I needed. Just don't change
don't
down.
touch the big ring.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
So,
it was crazy.
so the end of day 2, it took took longer than I'd hoped, like 9 hours and 17 minutes. I think I was still fourth. I was fourth off the bike.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when I got off the bike, I was not in a good place.
Wow.
And they knew, like, they all knew it straight away. And this pitch, I'm just laying in the ice bath. Reese brought me my protein drink, and I was like, oh no, this is gonna be bad times.
Yeah.
And so ice bath, massage, and then, you know, we were back at a hotel that night because it was point to point. Day 2 was point to point, and day 3 was point to point. So you stayed in different locations.
Right.
Mm.
Just
So,
picking up on something you mentioned there, Kate, at the end, you said when you were going through those hard times, you said, you know, this, you had to tell yourself this is your choice. It's something you wanted to do. It's not something you've been forced to do. No one's holding a gun against your head. I think sometimes, I know myself, you know, you get into these situations when it's all going a little bit against you, and you start to think to yourself, you know, why the hell am I here? What am I doing? Blah, 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 and stuff. But at the end of the day, I think we've got to remember that, you know, we're very privileged as, you know, able-bodied people to be able to do these challenges, and you know, and to have the privilege to actually be able to do that. So I thought that was a really interesting comment that you mentioned there, because, you know, nobody is holding a gun against our head to do these challenges.
No, and it was, some of the things that did happen were quite, like, once we get to day 3, I'll explain really weird things that happened that motivated me to keep going. But, yeah, and the thing was, too, it was like, come on, Kate, it's 40 Ks out of a 270K ride. Like, you know, I'm nearly there. And the fact that, you know, there were people that were going to be taking 3 hours longer than me to finish. I really have nothing to be complaining about, but I was still complaining.
I think complaining is all right, you know. It's sort of sometimes those mental battles are what it's all about on these crazy long events and stuff. So So tell us about that third day then. This one sounds interesting because you broke the record.
It was because obviously when we went back on day 2 to the hotel, you know, Jeff had realised, okay, this, you know, she's in a bit of a hole at the moment. Day 1, like after day 1, I helped. I did all this stuff. I got stuff organised, and he was like, "Nah, you lay on that bed, you put your legs up, and you don't move." So I actually just didn't move the entire night. We had
I'm not
pizza.
sure you could have moved.
I don't think I could have moved either.
She was in a bad place.
We had pizza and some like ice cream, and then I literally fell asleep like at 8 o'clock. But Guy had his alarm set for 2:30, and he woke me up at 2:30, and I had more pizza, more ice cream, another protein drink, because V8 juice. Mazzy had actually been recording over the days the calories I had been taking in, and then making a rough estimate of what I was expending based on my Garmin. So the minimum goal we had was to equalise those. Ideally, I wanted to then have additional on top of that. So she was like, "Kate, this is how much you've used up today. You are nowhere near making up that deficit. We need to get that. You need to just keep eating throughout the night."
Wow.
So, and I think that ended up making a massive difference.
Oh, I think so, yeah.
For me, being able
and,
having
what
that.
was a pizza choice of a champion, Kate? What flavour topping? I'm sure people out there want to know that more than what V8 juice you were drinking in the car.
We had a meat lovers. We had lots of choices depending on what I felt like. So there was Hawaiian, meat lovers, and a vegetarian. So it was like I could go with whatever I was feeling like. It was just that
you
it was
mostly ate Hawaiian for those that are interested. Yeah, she ate like probably 85% Hawaiian.
There
I
you
think
85% Hawaiian. They have it. 3-time Ironman champion and now ultra Ironman champion Kate Bevilaqua eats meat lovers and Hawaiian, especially ham and pineapple. That's where it's all at, people. That's it.
So it was because it was easy. You know, we were in a hotel room. We couldn't cook. We couldn't do any of that. And just needed the calories.
Absolutely.
Like I needed the calories. So it was the best way to do it. Woke up the next morning. Oh, that's even worse. You know what I had for breakfast?
No.
Oh, it was good.
I had apple pie.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
There's apple pie that's like 400 calories, like loaded, done within like 2 minutes. So I didn't feel like anything else. Like I just couldn't stomach anything, but I needed the food. And what you were just talking about with appreciating what you're doing and that we can. We have a good friend in Boise who was last year hit by a car, and a triathlete, exceptional triathlete. She was training for Kona. She's still in a wheelchair at this point in time, and she's always wanted to do Ultraman. And the really weird thing was that Sunday night, she was in my dreams telling me to, run. Like, you've got this, you can run well. Yeah. And so I woke up in the morning and I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Angels told me I can do this. It's time to run. So I was drawing a lot on, her and her, confidence in my ability to do it. So, the run, I don't know. I really love don't get me wrong, the run was tough. But
as is every double marathon.
Yeah. I don't run 50Ks. 50Ks was as far as I'd gone. So the run was 84. You can have a pacer, like you can have someone run with you.
Okay.
My goal was to hold it off till after the first marathon. So I didn't want anyone to run with for the first 42.
Okay.
But these guys, the minivan was jumping me every 2Ks. So every 2Ks I was having, goo, water, gels, everything that I needed after. And the first 35Ks was road. The next 35 was trail. And then it went back to road. And it was it was rolling hills all the way pretty much.
Yeah, a few tough sections around that 60 to 70K. It was pretty hilly and gravel.
Yeah. So it was about the 60K mark, and Guy was actually running with me at that time. The commentator came by and he said, look, Kate, just letting you know this is a situation. Because I knew I was in second on the run, but that's all. I didn't know times or anything. And he said, the Spanish guy in front has this amount lead on you. Dustin, who's winning overall, is this far behind you. If you keep up this pace, you're going to make history. And I'm like, what do you mean? You said if you'll be the first female to win. And I'm like, okay, thanks. And he left, and I turned to Guy and I was like, babe, I can't even think about that right now. No. Like, I'm at 60Ks. I still have 24Ks of rolling hills to go. I said, we just need to go 1K at a time.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but it was interesting when these guys were swapping out. Ruth was running with me and Guy were running with me, alternating every 2Ks. I just had to remind them to slow down a little bit.
Yeah, sure. But, I mean, not too much, though, I would imagine, because it wasn't your average marathon time, wasn't it 3 hours 36? Was it 2 3-hour 36s?
No, they were 3:45s.
Oh, 3:45s, okay.
So, which is, I mean, not having ever done it before, I didn't know what I was going to do. The course record was 7:58. Yeah. I was, hoping on a good day I would be able to
totally smash that then.
Break that. My goal was to break the course record. So, I just had, you have those days sometimes where, everything, and that was me on day 3. Day 3 was one of those
after the absolute worst of worsts on day 2.
That's right. Which makes it for me even more, amazing.
Yeah, definitely. Sort of pull yourself through at that point. So, what's from here then, Kate? What's where to now?
I know, where to now? Back to my day job. Back to, obviously I have a big base now, a big slow aerobic base.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's going to take, 6 to 8 weeks to get some speed back in the legs.
Yeah.
And back to some half Ironman and Ironman racing. So that's the immediate plan for the rest of this year.
Do you have any particular dates or races in mind, or is that top secret at this point?
No. Look, we'll see how the body feels in a couple of weeks, and may go do a half Ironman challenge, Penticton race.
Okay,
you can drive there, and look, I would go with just no expectations, but I have this aerobic base. Let's see where things are at. Give a bit of a guide.
It's almost like you've done that course 6 times over.
Well, that's right. I know it and stuff, So the problem is I'll probably get stuck in a really, slow pace. And then either end of September, another half, either Cozumel, or early October will be Silverman.
Right.
And then Ironman Malaysia is the Ironman for November.
Great, and that's a real hard nut, tough course, isn't it, with the heat and the humidity and stuff? Yeah. So.
Yeah. So that's the plan for this year, and then maybe we'll look at. Then we'll decide on what happens next year.
Brilliant, brilliant. And Guy, just to finish off, then, Guy, what did you make of this whole thing? Has it inspired you, mate, to do these crazy challenges, or?
Oh, Paul, I think we all know what would happen to me. Oh, great first day, pretty good second day, terrible third day. Yeah, that's pretty much what would happen. I watched that and I was like, oh, never, ever, ever do I want to do this.
Don't you have a little sort of spark?
Just what I just said then is what will happen. And I have pacing control issues. And my recovery, day to day, Kate seems to recover a lot better than I do. Like, we do these big blocks and I'd do rides with her for 7 hours in training for this. And I did not recover well from those. But she was like, oh, okay, I'm going to run 50K today. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to stay in bed and maybe get up and run 2K. So, no, I don't want to do them. Ironman, one day wonder.
Yeah, wow. Well, I mean, even still, obviously, the Ironman's is a great feat to go for. And do you have any races yourself lined up, Guy, or?
I'm probably going to do similar stuff. I've done a few Olympic distances this summer just to try and get a bit of speed. Basically, I just want to beat your 10K PB. I haven't got there yet, Paul, but I'm coming for you.
What is it?
I'm watching you.
Pretty good.
What is it?
I think it's 33 off the bike, or is it 30? Is it?
Oh, you're talking about, sorry, I thought you meant swimming 10K.
No, running.
No worries.
We popped your 10K swimming cherry, didn't we, Guy, a couple of years ago in the Swan River. Sorry, I thought that's what you were talking about.
No, he did tell me about that.
No, not the 10K swim. That'll come when I.
That was a good day, that was.
Yeah, it was actually. It was.
Yeah.
What's your 10K off the bike?
10K run off the bike, 32:40.
32. Oh man.
We're talking like 3 centuries ago though here, you know.
Yeah.
That's
If I was to try and even run off the bike these days, it'd be over an hour, I think. So
it would be interesting. I would pay to watch that.
You'd pay to watch that,
yeah. Yeah, but I'm going to do a few halves and probably Ironman Malaysia as well.
Great. Okay. Well, thanks so much for taking the time, Kate and Guy, speaking with us there. I hope the viewers out there will really enjoy that interview. And like I say, I think the biggest take-home point is, it's an incredible achievement. So well done, Kate. That's an absolutely fantastic thing. I'm personally over here very proud of what you've achieved there and stuff. It was when it came through on the radio waves that this is what you were doing and how well you'd done. It was quite inspiring. So thanks for that, and thanks for sharing it with us. And like I say, I thought your comments there about just sort of appreciating what we can all do, and not taking those sort of things for granted, and with your friend who's unfortunately in the wheelchair as well, just inspiring you on. That's these sort of things really do motivate us and move us, and I think we're all quite in a fortunate position to be able to do these things. So yeah. So thanks very much, guys. That's great.
Thank you.
Thanks.